Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me? Wow. Huh. Hello, everyone. Well, we're just like a minute into the session, and I'm seeing 61 viewers already. And I think we are expecting a lot more to come. I heard some 200 users are have registered to join our session today, which is a massive audience. And we're just very happy to have you all guys here. By the way, before we start, let me just introduce myself really quick. My name is Dai, and I'm part of the Brokerpedia team. And we're basically here, as you've seen in the email, to share the newest feature of Brokerpedia, which we think is very in time with the technology that we're having. And without further ado, everyone, I want you to meet Robin. Robin AI is the newest assistant that Brokerpedia is offering to our brokers to get through the analysis and getting the best solutions for our clients. Yes, so let's probably wait a minute or so for others to join, then we can start the party. For Robin, just a heads up, guys, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in our chat box. We have the whole team behind me monitoring your questions, and we will get the answers to you by the end of this session. So just feel free to, to put in your questions, and we'll get to that later. All right, 68 viewers, and we'll start in a minute. We also have G with me right now. He is also part of the Brokerpedia team. So the two of us will be
Hi
your host
guys.
for today. Hey G, we'll be the one answering your questions. So and also Gia, the team is
Hi
growing
everyone.
because hello. Last year, I think we also ran a broker TV session last year, and it was I think only two of us. So having three definitely means the team is growing. Hello, I'm seeing a lot of highs in the chat box. Saying hello, guys. Welcome to the session. And I think we have 74 viewers, and I think that's good for us to start. So again, guys, welcome to Broker TV. Today we will be talking about Robin AI, and we've already seen a lot of brokers using Robin. So I pretty much sure that you guys are already aware of what Robin is. But this session is basically to give you more ideas or to give you more thoughts on what Robin can do to help the brokers in doing their work in a way more efficient manner and getting the work done as fast as possible. So you can see my screen, guys, right? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so just to give you a quick background of what Robin means, is an acronym, and it's not something that we just came up with. Robin means real time optimization for brokerage and intelligence network. That's a long name, so we don't want you stressing out on the name. So let's just call him or her Robin. It's not gender sensitive too, so yeah, she can be a she can be a he, so whatever. So yeah, that's Robin, and basically just um a general question, or well, general idea of what Robin can do. Basically, Robin is just the same search engine that Brokerpedia has been offering to the brokers for the last 20 years. But we're trying to keep up with high tech, and with Chat GPT coming in, we also wanted Robin to be as flexible as Chat GPT. And technically, that's what Robin offers to you. It's not just a keyword search. You basically enter your questions, and Robin will give you the answer. um, for that specific question, and it's not just gonna throw the normal or the specific bank policies. Other than that, would you believe that Robin can also summarize and analyze your specific files, your specific client situation, which means you can run scenarios in Robin, and Robin will actually give you options on how to proceed with your client scenario, which also which is also the third thing that Robin can do. So basically, the second and the third lines go hand in hand. All right. So yes, I guess we want to go and do some live action over here. What we did is that we have prepared a few samples, a bunch of samples for you guys, just to give you an idea of what are the things that we can do with Robin. How can Robin help us in different aspects of the work? And we don't want, well, when you use Chat GPT, sometimes it takes minutes for ChatGPT to come back to you with an answer. And technically, Robin works similarly as ChatGPT, and we don't want wasting your time waiting for a minute or 2 minutes um, to just get or to just run the scenario. So we have prepared a few samples. Of course, if you want to try Robin, you can actually do that and run your scenarios or throw in any questions after this session. Okay, so let us now go to the. Huh, let me just check. Yep, I'm sharing my other screen so we can go the um the samples. Okay, so we basically we broke down the samples per category just so we can show you specifically or clearly what Robin can do. And let's start off with doing simple questions or giving simple questions to Robin. And we have this um, sample here wherein the question is about Combank's rate. As I've mentioned earlier, you can just throw in the question to Robin as if you're talking to your assistant, and it will pretty much give you the answer in one go. So it gives you here what is the assessment floor rate and what is the buffer rate, which is very accurate. This is the same answer that you will get if you do the normal search in Brokerpedia. By the way, guys, before I actually go further into this sample example, I know everyone is pretty much knows how to go to Brokerpedia. Oh, sorry, to Robin AI. But for those who are not yet familiar, from Brokerpedia, you can actually um, put in the question. Let me just do that right now. Okay, so this is the homepage that you will see when you enter Brokerpedia, and going to Robin is very easy. You actually have two ways to go there. One is just going into the search field, click on this drop down saying Ask Robin AI and type your question. Yep, and there you go. Hit enter or hit this one and you will go to the Robin AI page. The other way for us to go to Robin AI is just click on this lovely icon over here, who is also Robin, by the way. It's another form of Robin. And it basically will take you to the Robin AI screen. So easy stuff. You have a lot of ways to go to Robin. And I hope that is clear. I'll just go back to my example earlier. Okay, so visual wise, you would see that it's very plain. This is basically similar to what you see on Chat GPT, and the main reason we want to do it that way is because we don't want having a lot of adjustments. You've been used to using Chat GPT, and that's how we want you to use Robin as well. So we try to make uh, the interface as similar as close to ChatGPT. All right, so this is basically the answer. This is just on Combank assessment rate, and you will see it's given us the answer, and it also gives us the um the source of the answer. So I just hovered my mouse or my cursor into that entry number that you can see, the series of number over here, and that will give you a pop-up that tells you where the answer is coming from. Of course, multiple entries can be the source of the answer. That's why you can have a lot of entry numbers here, which is um, the reference for for the answer of Robin over here. So basically the same thing. It will give you a lot of information, and you can also see this Ask Robin pop up, which means if you want to have or if you want to ask Robin about a particular part of his response, you just highlight that particular line and then you ask Robin, and it will enable you to ask follow-up questions for that particular line of the answer or of the response. So that's one sample. Again, just going down the page, this is something that's generic to Robin. You will see this in every Robin response. If you want to ask more lenders, then just click this button, more lenders. If you want to copy the response to your client's records, to your CRM, click copy. And of course, if you want to double check the first response given by Robin, click double check and it will reanalyze or the previous answer that it got. Also, uh, you have the option to save the response that was given by Robin earlier. Try again means Robin will reanalyze the question and will go through the databases again and give you another response. So basically, those are the options that you have, buttons available for you when you use Robin. And we would appreciate if you can help us um, check how Robin is doing. That is why we're having this buttons for you. If you think the response is good, click yes. No, then click no. If you think some of it is okay, some of it are not, then click partly. Now, one of the main questions that we get is Robin's accuracy on the responses. And right now, as all developing technologies, um, we don't want to tell the people that Robin is perfect, like 100% perfect, because I don't think there's any system that's perfect. But we are continuously doing testing to make sure that the responses that Robin is giving to the users are actually correct. And we are following, I will be a bit technical about this. Um, we are doing or following the CAT principle, which means comprehensiveness, accuracy, and timeliness. Using that principle gives us more confidence that Robin actually will give accurate information to the users. All right. So yeah, I think what this is our first example. We're trying to do specific lender search or one lender search for now. So let me go to the next sample. Again, guys, just a reminder, if you have any questions, just shoot it in the chat box. We'll have someone to check on it and we will answer them later. Hopefully, we have the time to answer everything later, but if not, we'll definitely take note of your questions and we will send you the answers um, after this session. Okay, so we have another single lender search, which talks about Bankwest foreign income and investment interest only loan. As you can see, this sample is not on a question type. It's basically just a phrase. Um, um, a phrase that mentions foreign income, two credit variables, which is foreign income and interest only loan, investment interest only loan. And this is Robin's response, which I think is a very good. He also points out the key bankless points, and as you can see here, it's direct from policy. So all the Robin responses are coming from bank policies, and you can see that with the again reference or entry number showing here. Just pop it or just put your cursor over here. It will pop up. If you want to really look into the entry, then click the number and it will give you a full size of the response or of the entry that it it took the answer from. It also gives you um, the currency that bankers will consider for foreign income. It pretty much gives you all the necessary or relevant information in relation to your question. Okay, there you go. Um, and it also gives you a table to summarize whatever he mentioned above, because I think tables are a lot more better to read than the text. Okay, and you will still have the option of more lenders and the same options that we had on the other samples. Okay, again, guys, if you want to validate the responses by yourself, feel free to do so. We have the other we have the other feature of Brokerpedia, which is control control. Again, you just click control control on your keypad and keyboard, and it will give you this small pop-up. I hope you can see it. This small pop-up, and then you can just search for the actual policy if you want to double check the responses from Robin. We are open for any comment for Brokerpedia if you think that the response is not accurate or if it's missing something based on your Brokerpedia search, let us know so we can improve Robin more. Okay, that's it for the sample. Next sample would be notional rent. This is in a form of question. And basically, the first line already gives you the answer. 650 per month per household, which is, I think, very important to know because banks have different policies on how to treat notional rent expense. And it also gives you documentation requirement if there is any, which if you will check the question, there was no mention of the documentation requirement. So it was actually really good for Robin to pick out or to pick up the documentation requirement, even though it wasn't mentioned in the question, which me and it says here there's no letter required from household or host for to use the notional rent expense. So there. Yep. And I guess this is the last example that we have for single lender searches. And this is the last question that we have, and it's about Westpac's discharge fee. And again, the first sentence already tells you what the answer is, and it also tells you how it's being applied to um, to the loan or how it's being paid. And yeah, I guess that's all it. If you have any more questions, just ask a follow up. Put in your next question, and Robin will answer it. Okay, now aside from doing single lender searches, Robin can also do multiple lender search, and this is one example of this. This particular question is about the 5% low deposit scheme by the government, which I think is very in time after the government announced the changes on the government scheme. So this is one example where the broker or the user is asking for a list of lenders in relation to the government scheme. And you would see here, by the way, this is our disclaimer of how accurate Robin is. Um, and again, your thumbs up or thumbs down contribution is appreciated. And that would give you um, the answer. If you scroll down, you will see a table that that answers the question, and basically it gives you, it's very easy to read. You have the you have this um what's this categories that you are looking for, and it gives you a tick mark, and that's pretty much easy to understand. A tick mark means yes. So this, and you will also see that there is lender ranking here. Now, this gives you an idea of which lender will likely do the application for you. So imagine how fast it can help you if there is already a suggestion of which bank can help you with your client scenario or with your question. And yeah, that's it's giving us like multiple lenders in response. And you can always click more lenders if you want to know more lenders that can possibly do the 5% deposit scheme. And that will give you another set of table. What's good is that it will also give you um, his thoughts about which bank is the best to go to. In this case, it's giving you Combank, Westpac Group brands as the most fitting bank for your question. And that also gives you other information, additional information that will actually help you to go further with your analysis. It can give you this another other sets of information, and you can also offer you other things that it can do. So you might actually miss something that you need to do or need to check on the bank. Robin is here to remind you if there's anything else that you need to do. Basically, Robin is your assistant here. Okay, then the user clicked on show me more lenders, and we get more lenders. How good is that? You don't need to go to the government scheme to see who are the participants, because we all know not all banks participate to the government grant, but Robin has already filtered the banks for you. And it already gave you pretty much what you need to know for each participant of the government scheme. Yes, and the user tried to do double check. But again, as I've mentioned earlier, there are still some improvement that needs to be done. So this is one of it. Okay. And that's what you do when you want to look for multiple lenders in your Robin search. All right. Another thing that Robin can actually help you with is if you want to do comparative analysis across lenders, and you want it to be done on a table format, it actually gives you it will give you the option to do it on a table. So, for example, this user asked for Robin to do a table of lenders doing 1 year self-employed financials, and it's giving you basically um, a list of banks that will do 1 year self-employed, the LVR condition, because we know that banks, well, some banks or all some banks that do 1 year self-employed have conditions before they can proceed with that policy, which is very helpful because it gives you a heads up of whether you can really go to that bank or not. It will also give you the documentation required by each bank, which is also one of the most important things when you are doing analysis for your client, to know which documents you will be needing to go to that particular bank. And I'm looking at the banks now. These banks are definitely doing 1 year financials. Good answer. Okay, again, you have this ranking over here to give you an idea of which bank is most likely to support the loan that you're looking to apply for. Right. This is basically like a summary of what is above, just some reminders and heads up for you when you pick out the banks that you would like to go to. And that's it. If you want, for multiple lenders, you can actually narrow down the analysis. Let's say you wanted to go with. I know it's Combank. Combank is the first, is the top bank here. So if you want to do further analysis for Combank's 1 year financials, just ask a follow-up question and it will actually give you specific details about Combank's 1 year financials. Okay. Now, we all know that aside from doing servicing calculators, you have to do some calculations for the client, or sometimes that will help you to see or to with a, it will help you for the servicing calculator or capacity. And one of the things that I think is very hard to do right now, I don't know if it's just me, but it's very hard for me to calculate the hex repayment with the recent threshold announced by ATO, because before there's just like a percentage that you use against the income. Now they have a lot of like there's a threshold, and then you have there's cents requirement, or cent calculation that needs to be done above the specific threshold. And what's good about Robin is not it's not just focusing on bank policies. It will also help you do things outside bank policies, which is like this example here. So the user is asking how much hex repayment is going to be for an income of 120,000. And as you can see here, the Robin actually mentioned 2025 to 2026 threshold, which is very accurate. And it gives you the formula, but it also makes the recalculation for you. And this is your hex repayment. So you basically can do everything in Robin. Um, at least those basics that you know outside the bank policy, Robin is able to help you with that one. Next one is processes. Again, we're talking about outside bank policies. We're talking about apply online process. And we all know apply online can sometimes be very messy and hard to complete. So there's a lot of boxes in apply online and also in other lender platform for application lodgement. And Robin is also able to help you how or where to put the information in those bank lodging applications. So here it gives you step by step. It gives you the correct tab, and it basically gives you every step that you need to go to and enter the information that you need to enter. It would even give you an additional information. In this case, it's giving you additional details on the documentation that the bank would ask for. And again, we always encourage people to validate the information. You can always click on this entry number or click control on your desk on your keyboards and make a manual search so you can validate the information given by Robin. Okay, and there are key limits as well, which is not mentioned in the question of the user, which we think is also very good in terms of giving additional information to the broker. Hey, look at this. Robin is even offering you to draft the application comment, the broker submission notes, and statutory declaration checklist. How good is that for a tool with your work? It's basically doing most of the stuff. So that is a really good catch by Robin, especially those that are not familiar with the bank processes, the application lodging process. This is something that you can go to and ask questions Robin about it. Talking about application still, um, aside from the process, hey, you can get forms from Robin. Robin is more than happy to give you forms for each bank. For example, this user wants to get a discharge form for Pepper Money, And this is the discharge form. Gives you the fee. So yeah, basically it's a one stop shop. Can give you any, well, of course, again, it has some limitations, but we are in the works of improving it. But given how young Robin is, it's pretty much doing a lot of things to help the brokers. Okay, we have a lot of BDM. Um, Given that we are accredited to a lot of banks. So what if I want to know my BDM's contact details? Here you are. Look for Chris Su. He knows, Robin knows that Chris Su is from Westpac. It's giving you everything you need. Right? Okay. So there. That's the basic questions that we want that Robin normally encounters. And now we're going to a more exciting stage of the discussion, which is client scenario. And I guess this is one of the biggest contributions that Robin can give to the user. And I have my scenario here. Basically, the broker has a first home buyer in South Australia. He wants to know the estimate cost to purchase his first home. He even wants to make two scenarios. When the client wants to buy a new property, in a scenario where he buys 900,000 versus 1 mil. Again, taking in mind the 5% deposit guarantee scheme. This user has a lot of things that he wants to know about. He even wants to know the stamp duty. And this is a wrong spelling because it should be first home owner's grant, but the letters were jumbled. So, what did Robin do? Basically, he ran the scenarios that the broker wanted to. Three scenarios, today's broad settings. This is scenario one. Again, establish property for 1 mil in SA under the first home buyer scheme. It's giving you a deposit calculation, which is correct, 200,000 if done at 80%. And it also gives you a clarification that a smaller deposit might trigger LMI unless covered by a scheme, which is part of the broker's question. There. So rough cost guide. Robin said it might cost tens of thousands for the cost at 1 mil in South Australia, and it actually picked up that first home buyer waivers don't generally apply to established home. Wow. Okay. Even building and building report was given an estimate for. And then this is the second scenario. Not Robin is following the spelling of the user, but it's making sure that it has the correct concept used in its responses. There. Here's the clarity. Okay. So it's pretty much giving you the idea of how the FHUG works in South Australia and the cost guide for the property. And this is the scenario three that the broker wanted to run at Robin. Um, and yeah, basically we know 5% deposit is approximately this amount. And conveyancing additional cost, this is he already gave you. By the way, this estimate costs are specifically based on South Australian guidelines. So so it's very specific to that state. And it changes, of course, if you change states. So these are three moving parts. It's giving you a path, which is what is the next step for the analysis and some more practical tips for the broker to consider. And then the broker said, "Okay, give me a more comprehensive and detailed. Use exact numbers because the question above only asked for estimated numbers. So this time he wants exact numbers and calculations. Can Robin do that? Can Robin give you exact numbers and calculations? Still, for the three scenarios and in table format. So let's see if Robin actually made it as a table. And yes, here's the scenario. Here are the details that the broker asked for, covering all the information that the broker is looking for. And let's just go through that. Again, it's giving you some help on how are you gonna talk it through with a client, which is very hard sometimes to go to, especially broker language can sometimes be very technical and it might confuse the clients when you try to explain it to them. So Robin is actually giving you help to simplify the terms for the client and make it easier for the client to understand the explanation. All right. And then the broker, for some reason, is very smart and asked Robin to switch the x axis with a y axis. This refers to the format of the table. So, no problems with Robin. He actually did that again. Well, yeah, he asked for clarification again from the broker and some more calculations, and it basically changed the format of the information. Earlier scenarios are on this part of the table and the items are on the top of the table, but it switched it around for better reading for the broker, so which is actually a lot better now. Yes. So comparing the details is a lot more easier based on this format. And again, Robin is giving you options on how you can frame it to the client. Wow. Now, the broker also asked if the client would, well, if the client is not taking advantage of the government grant, then we're talking about LMI. And he's specifically asking LMI premiums for particular banks. CBA, LMI to be specific. And normally, when you see Combank LMI table, it's just like this, and you have to manually calculate the LMI. But Robin AI actually calculated the LMI for this particular client or particular scenario, and here you go, 21,000 for 900 for a 900,000 purchase price and 32,000 for a higher purchase price. This actually gives you an idea on how much you can save in terms of LMI if the client takes advantage of the first home grant. And if the broker wanted more, what about Macquarie LMI premiums? And it basically give you the same information. Oh, it will give you the same calculation based on Macquarie's LMI table. It still has the CBA LMI here for comparison purposes. And yeah, and then it was also giving the Macquarie LMI premium for comparison. And yeah, I think you can just go on asking Robin if you want to narrow down your analysis. But basically, this is one example of a broker taking advantage of Robin's capacity or capability to answer and help him with the analysis. I won't go through up to the last part of this one because it's taking us long to go through this scenario. But I have another scenario for you guys. This one is pretty much a shorter client scenario, but I have an interesting point to show you guys here. Scenario is around the husband and wife retired, wanting to get a cash out of about 1 mil. to buy a future investment property. So we're talking about cashing out from banks. And basically, Robin is saying several major lenders will consider it, given their age. Make um, take note of the age because that's a credit variable, and Robin was able to tease that out or to take that into account for the analysis, basically giving us the possible lenders that we can go to. I'll just go through down the responses because it would take us more time if we go one by one, basically giving you the answers that you can look for. Um, and then what's interesting is that the user actually asked Robin to draft an email for the CBA BDM. And normally for email draft, you will have to, of course, make sure that you are mentioning all the credit variables in the email so you have a full view of the answer of the BDM when he gets back to you. It's giving you the client profile, it's giving you the proposal, it's giving you what you need to confirm from the BDM. And again, you just started with putting in the client scenario. It's covering everything that you might need to ask from your BDM, even your name has on it. Yep. So, um, from simple questions, now we are already talking about sending an email to the BDM with the help of Robin drafting the email and the questions for the broker. Okay, so there's a lot of examples that I've already run through with. I have a very interesting um, example to show you. And this actually is telling us we're not contained to English language. I hope there are brokers here who knows how to speak in Vietnamese because definitely this one is gonna help. Of course, I cannot go through this because I am not a Vietnamese speaker, but the fact that Robin can translate the policy in Vietnamese language makes it a very big difference, especially those um, that are fluent with Vietnamese language. By the way, we also checked this. We have already translated this, and to make sure that the answer is correct. And yes, the answer is accurate. I think we also have a Chinese entry, a Chinese question ran by Robin, and the response is very accurate as well. And it's also in Chinese characters. So Robin is getting global in terms of the language. And I guess that's the end of my samples. Again, guys, there's a lot more that Robin can do to help the brokers. These are just some samples that we wanted to show you to give you an idea of what Robin can do. But basically, I guess the samples that we have shown you so far gives you a good idea on what you can do with Robin. I'll just stop sharing. Okay. All right. Okay. That actually, I'm just seeing the comment box right now, the chat box right now, and I can see the team is helping us answer the questions. And again, if there's any question that we're able to answer in this session, we will definitely send you um, the answers via email. And for those brokers who have joined the session, we will send you an email as well regarding your CPD points on how you can get one and how you can print the certificate from Brokerpedia. For those who weren't able to join us in the session, we will also be sending out an email with a recording of this video so they can keep up with what the brokers learned. Hopefully you learned something in this session. But yeah, there's a lot of things. I don't want to, keep you guys for another hour just to go through the questions and stuff that you can go with Robin, but that's pretty much it. And I know a lot of you guys are already using Robin anyway, and we would like to thank you for supporting Robin as early as now. Did I miss anything? Okay. Um, yeah. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We definitely will have more sessions to come. I'll, a 45-minute session definitely is not enough to explore Robin. So keep an eye on the coming announcement from Brokerpedia for future training sessions. And I hope to see everyone again in the next coming sessions, guys. All right, you have your email address there. If you have any more additional questions after this session, just keep it coming and we will answer them and get back to you. Okay, guys. And that's it. I guess that's the end of the session, guys. And thank you so much. Have a very good weekend ahead of you guys. Bye now. Bye.